Oh, well, thanks, Hassan. Yeah, so just for you, if you're just joining, we're really kind of talking about my update, or my weekly update of revitalizing this channel. And this is going live, which is kind of great because having people in the chat to help me out, to let me know what's working, what's not working. And Hassan is absolutely correct. So I'm using the FX30 and I'm using the XLR handle. And there's a little switch there that lets you switch to turn on the XLR camera or turn it off. And every time I turn off my FX30, I do turn it off. So I turned it on now. So I apologize for the beginning of the live stream if the audio wasn't that great. Hassan, shout out to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me know. And for all the other viewers that are going to be jumping on, be able to hear better audio. So let's just jump back onto my back end and kind of take a look at my stats for the past week, and hopefully better audio as I kind of explain what's going on the back end. So here is, again, I've been doing some live streams since October 2nd, and just as a refresher, I really haven't uploaded anything to the YouTube channel since December or January, let's say 2022, 2023. And luckily within that time, I have been able to still get watch time. And looking at the different videos, these are the top content for the last 28 days. So doing some live streams is one of the things that I've wanted to do and share some of my experience, and also a lot of the things that are going on when in regards to tech gear. So I've done a couple live streams here. Actually, quite many. Now, if I were going to take a look at this, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 live streams. And then I finally launched a video for the channel. So that video is just more of a restart of just talking about how the YouTube channel died, became dormant, and my strategy to kind of revitalize the channel versus starting a new channel altogether. So within the last 28 days, got 6,000 views, 116 hours of watch time, and which is amazing. You know, we seeing a huge increase with only 7 subscribers, which obviously being dormant, haven't been really seeing any growth. So with some past videos, the top video is a short, and it's still getting relatively great traction. Another video that was released in June of 2022, and another video again in 2023. And what's nice to see is I'm getting some traction on some of the live streams that I released in October, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, and now we're getting into this blend of new subscribers and my past or current subscribers on the channel. So again, a lot of the content is going to be roughly the same, except for really kind of talking about not just as a beginner as a YouTuber with just videos, but kind of talking about live streams and podcasts. So podcasts have been something that in 2022 that YouTube was kind of experimenting with. And I had always thought that video podcasts were going to be the future. I think a lot of people like to see the visual, however, love that option when they're riding their car, or they're going for a run, or even for a bike ride, to listen to a podcast versus music in most cases. And I shouldn't say most cases. I find that's what I tend to do now. When I'm going for a drive, I like to listen to audiobooks or podcasts. So the podcast route, there is a few rules of thought. Is if you're going to do a podcast, to do a completely separate channel, and then keep your main channel as whatever you normally have. So I've kind of integrated and experimented and did one season of the Elev8 Project podcast and kept it on the YouTube channel, and it hasn't really had that much traction. So I'm going to experiment again during this revitalization, and now season 2 is coming out. We're going to have a weekly podcast, which is kind of just discussing again just my strategies and how to revitalize, and if you are a new YouTuber or someone that's thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Now, the other strategy, so we talked about live streams. So I want to do a weekly update of where I'm at. So current state, as we can see, we're roughly at 2,739.40. Kind of see where the growth is and kind of expand to see what is working and maybe things that aren't working. And also kind of see I'm expanding the niche a little bit more. So I do want to help people that are new to YouTube and want to start out, but also people that are looking for some insight on different types of gear. So again, if you're starting a YouTube channel, start with your phone. That's probably going to be the best video camera that you can have if you don't have a, let's say, a dedicated camera like the FX30 that I'm using right now. Now, obviously there's different levels that you can get to get better at, let's say, lighting, audio. So obviously Hassan really helped me out here as even little glitches. And again, that's the other thing about live. You get to go and see, what went wrong, what didn't, and fix things on the fly. And I think when it comes to video and audio is really, really important. So even with the iPhone, the video portion is going to be pretty high quality in my opinion, just because most people are watching YouTube from their mobile devices. Now, the one thing that you can really level up your video or your videos is the audio on the iPhone. I think it's getting a lot better, but I will show some external mics that I've been using that you can plug in that will be compatible with a iPhone or an Android device using USB-C. Give me 1 second here. We're just gonna check out something else that I just realized that we can look at the stats on particular videos. So taking a look at some of these videos, we can see the average view duration. So because this is a short, and it is one of my, we can see a huge viewership on this short in 28 days. And then if we get to the videos, which is what I'm kind of interested in, is in these views here. So I'm just gonna go and see the breakdown of this video, as it is a video that I did in 2025 in October, where the first 4 videos were some of my older content, which is great to see that it's still holding some value and a lot of people found value in it and are still watching it. But if I get into this video here, it got 68 views, 3 hours of watch time, but it didn't really produce any new subscribers, which is okay. I think today when we take a look at YouTube, it's not necessarily the subscribers. I think subscribers is really a good thing because you do need to meet a minimum threshold to get monetized on YouTube. So here we can take a look. We had the live is what really kind of stimulated the views. And then the nice thing about live video is that you're done. You're done with the video. You can do some minor editing and it's uploaded and it's good to go. So the other, if I take a look at reach, and here is kind of very interesting. So the views from this live stream, it was really founded by YouTube search. So people either searching for, oh yeah, this was a live stream that we were talking about Prime big deal days. So that was a great opportunity to talk about a lot of the different tech that I had that you could save money on by purchasing it during Prime days. Browse features, so that is cool because people that are browsing on YouTube, looks like I was able to attract some viewers just from the browse features. And the cool thing is when you're going through your analytics on the back end, you can really kind of, when you put your mouse over each one, if this is new to you, there's a little eye that will give you some information. So here the YouTube search is search terms used by viewers, and browse features is traffic from the home page and the subscription feed and other browsing features. And then everything else wasn't really a big impact. Here we have click-through rate. So click-through rate is kind of really important because when YouTube shows your video to various audiences is how many people click through. So I would say my average click-through rate is 2.4%. So out of 100 people seeing my video, only 2.4 people clicked on my video. So that's very interesting because that's something to think about when you're creating your videos, is how are you going to attract those viewers? And so it's a good thing to take the time to spend on your thumbnail and also your title. So as you saw in that one video that really helped rebuild and kind of jumpstart the channel is the thumbnail, which you can always improve. What's going to make your thumbnail going to be more attractive to click versus the other thumbnails that are around it. And then as you can see, the browse feature or YouTube search. So then also your title, how enticing is your title or how relevant is the title? So what's really great is there's AI, and I'm really trying my best to embrace AI. So one of the things that I've been doing is being a little bit smarter about my titles and using things like Perplexity AI and ChatGPT. And how I do that is I think about what is my YouTube video going to be about. And then I kind of just put a prompt into ChatGPT or Perplexity and just kind of add in there, as a YouTuber, describe X, Y, and Z. This is what the video is about. What would be an impactful, engaging title? And what would you recommend for a thumbnail? Kind of the design of the thumbnail. So that is something that I'm trying out. So that's a big update. In the past, in 2021, 2022, it was more of the 5 W's, how. So what, where, why, when, how, explain, describe. Those were the kind of titles that I would create, and kind of setting that in line with what people would search for. Not necessarily super enticing or crazy or SEO friendly. I think that is something that I added in my prompt as well, is an SEO friendly description. So even after this live stream, I kind of realize what I've talked about, and then I put that in AI and just say, hey, create an SEO friendly description based on the summary of what I've done on the video. And then I'll copy and paste that and put it in the description after the live stream. So now that is what I use, but then now you have to kind of create the thumbnail. So what do I normally do for that? I actually use CANVA. CANVA has been something I've been using for years for my 9-to-5, for my YouTube channel, as well as for my media company. in Canva does certain things as well. They have an AI engine and you can kind of describe what you want. I played around with that, but I always tweak it. I kind of get a prompt from ChatGPT, and I haven't really gotten the best out of that. Now, a lot of people do say, if you are looking to gain engagement and trust right away, is adding your face to the thumbnail. Now, if you take a look at my YouTube channel, I'm gonna go back in there. I did do a test. I kind of put my face in one of the thumbnails, but I blocked it off a little bit. And let's show you and see where that kind of sits in the last 28 days. So again, when we're talking about thumbnails, these thumbnails that I did in the past actually was something that I used my iPad. I would take some pictures and I'd use an app to do freehand on some of the colors to make things stand out. And then here, this is October. All of these thumbnails were used through CANVA. Now, here is where I put my face. I mean, partially. And let's see if I can zoom that for you a little bit. But that is, actually, that's not bad. Again, I would hope that once you click the video, that the content adds value. And I got 78 views, and this is, 35 views, an hour of watch time, no subscribers from this video. But as you can see here, the vertical live feed, so that was really nice. This was a vertical live video, again, which I did in Vegas, just kind of giving an update of my experience with the Insta360 Go Ultra while traveling, browse features, and YouTube search. So that's very interesting. If going live here, this is horizontal, and that particular video, 53.8% came from the vertical live feed. So that's something for me to think about. I think for these updates, kind of showing what's going on in the last 28 days, or what's going on every week, I'm gonna go with this horizontal, and I'll play around with the vertical live feed. I did find when I was doing the vertical live feed, I did get a lot of viewers and engagement than I have with this type of live stream. And arguably, I like to think that this is a better setup. Other than earlier in the live stream, I think the audio quality is better in this setup than it is when I did it through vertical, which was just through my iPhone. So that's pretty interesting. So I think when I take a look at the past week, we're going in the right direction, which is amazing, and thank you for all your support. So what's coming up this week? What are my plans? So, talking about a lot of different things to use as a new YouTuber or thinking about going into YouTube. A lot of people think they need the newest and greatest editing machine, the newest and greatest camera, the newest and greatest mic. So you don't need those things, just to be completely clear. I think even when I first started, I was using my iPhone. I didn't have a tripod, or I didn't have any attachments, and I had like a book. I stacked books to a certain level, and I had my iPhone just sitting there and just kind of pressing record. For editing, the great thing is, with anything new today, a new iPad, a new iPhone even, there's a lot of free editing software. Even with an iPhone, you can use iMovie just to get you started. And then again, If you do have a computer, any of the newer Macs, especially if it has an M chip, so M1, M2, M3, M4, and I believe if you are looking for a Apple laptop, as of today, launching October 22nd, they have announced Apple has a MacBook Pro 14-inch with the M5 chip, so the newest and greatest M series chip. And I found, for me, for my editing machine, I'm still using my Mac Studio, and it's only an M2 Max chip. I have a MacBook Air with the M2 chip, and I have an iPad which doesn't even have an M1 chip in it. And I will tell you, the MacBook Air M2 is more than powerful enough to edit videos and color grade, use Final Cut Pro, and you don't even need that software really to edit videos as a beginner. As things progress and you want things to, for instance, use the Sony ZV-E10 jumping from an iPhone and just use whatever color profile that the camera had, and I would just post that. It's only till I got to FX30 and started shooting in a log profile where I need to do a little bit of color grading and add LUTs is when I really kind of, okay, I'm gonna upgrade to Final Cut Pro. So give you an FYI. So this week, I'll be finalizing my review and releasing a video for the Insta360 Go Ultra. What's interesting, I'm going to do an overview review and probably create some separate videos specifically on 5 things that I like. And there's 5 things I do not like. Actually, there's probably more. And there's probably more things that I do like about it as well. But it's an action cam. And also might do a video series just on the settings that I use, really kind of talking about the vertical and horizontal, how that works with the Go Ultra. And we'll be looking to do a live stream again next Saturday to kind of give an update. I am going to do a podcast episode. So I'm going to do episode number 2 for the Elev8 project. And really create and kind of take a look at statistics and want to get a little bit more detailed for next Saturday. And and also prep up for some other videos that I'm going to be working on. So I'll be probably doing a video on my desk setup. My desk setup has changed, especially since 2022. But I did move into a new workspace. I did share an office with my wife. And now we've kind of changed one of the rooms in the basement where I have a little bit more room, just a little bit more room, and kind of downsized my desk setup than I had in the past. And so may also talk about just the changes that I've had on my desk from 2022 to now. So to kind of give you some context, if you're a newer viewer or a newer subscriber to the channel, I used to have a 49-inch curved Samsung G9, which was a gaming monitor. And what I really wanted to use that for was for video editing. I never gamed on that monitor, and the screen real estate. So it gave me some really cool abilities to have dual monitors just without the bezel in the middle. And you can even set it up truly like 2 monitors with 2 different inputs. Because back then I had a work laptop that was Windows, and I had my personal laptop, so I can kind of run both on this display. The challenges that I found with the G9 was color accuracy from, and not color accuracy from a color accuracy standpoint. I think it was 99.9% RGB. It was realizing and looking at who was viewing my videos and what devices they were viewing it on. And I found that a lot of people were using an Apple device, and not to say that the colors were different, but I wanted it to be more accurate. And I changed from the G9 and I moved to the Apple Studio displays. And one of the main reasons was, my thought process was, what I see, my final edit will be the same vision of what will be seen on an iPhone and an iPad, etc. And I'll be honest, I would say reviewing some of my past videos look actually better, in my opinion, on my Apple devices versus what I'm getting out of the Apple Studios while I'm editing. That could be due to a few different things, the different lighting in my new office and different colors that I had in the background that kind of gave me a little bit more of a darker, I guess, like tan look every time I went on video. So those are different things. So desk setup. The other things that I'm looking to review and talk about are the Stream Deck. The Stream Deck I'm not ready to do a full review on because it's fairly new, but I may just add, I'm thinking about doing some videos of how simplistic it is and just the software, because I have the 15 button Stream Deck, and you can have different pages and setup for each page, and each page I haven't used every single button on there. Not saying that you need to. It's looking at different shortcuts that I want to make it easier in my life to use it. For live stream, it's been great. I mean, I can switch from my start screen right from the button, go to my main screen, go to the full screen on my computer using those streams, which has been very, very useful, especially during live streams. I do want to experiment more before I kind of have an actual review of the Stream Deck. More so for productivity, a little bit more for live streaming. I like to think that there has been a lot of reviews for the Stream Deck from the perspective of live streaming. So I'm kind of going to lean more into productivity, people working from home. And that is kind of what's on the plate so far. So I know I've been talking about my update. Let's set some goals. So what's the goal in 1 week? Looking at, I've gained 7 subscribers, and that's from the last 28 days. So with the live stream, the podcast, as well as a video review that I'll be launching next week, I'm hoping by next Saturday that we're able to have a minimum of 7 new subscribers for within that week. So again, if we take a look at my analytics, let's just switch here for a sec. In the past 28 days, I've gained 7 subscribers. So looking to see at 1 week to gain the same amount of subscribers. I think that's the goal for the week. And then we can kind of adjust and go from there. Whew, I know it's an early one. Thank you for people joining the live stream. If I kind of take a look here. If there is anyone that has any questions, I'm going to be watching the chat here for a little bit. See if you have a question or two. I see there are a few people, or one, actually only one. I don't know if that's still Hassan, but Hassan, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. if I'm reading here, Hassan, stats look a lot similar to mine through... Yeah, that's cool. So in the chat, you say that you have similar stats, but less subscribers. Yeah, I think the subscriber count has, I think when I left it dormant, was actually, I think, higher than what it is today. And not by much. I think in 2023, the subscriber count that I was at was maybe still around 2,700, but 2,758. And now we're sitting at like 2,738, 39. So I think that when you're looking at the similar statistics, how many videos that you have, and what videos are very popular on your channel, and maybe creating version 2s of those videos. One thing that I'll be doing this week as well that I haven't mentioned, I'm going to be taking a look at my top 10 videos for the last 28 days and see if I can remake those videos. So actually, that is one of the videos that I do want to do in the next couple weeks, is do an updated version of one or two of those videos. One specifically, which is setting up a gimbal. One of the feedback that I got on that video, it's getting a lot of consistent views, but when I take a look at the comments, is that when I filmed that particular video, and it's a how-to video and how to set up a gimbal manually and balance it properly, the lighting was quite dark, and I always wear a black shirt on my videos, and the gimbal is also black. So when I was going through the step-by-step of how to balance the gimbal, it was very difficult for the viewers to see exactly what I was doing. So that is a video that I'm going to update and have a 2025 version. So yeah, interesting. Okay, everyone. So I appreciate you. Thank you for people that have joined and jumped off. And again, this is episode number 1 of Espresso Hour. Having my coffee here, gonna finish this coffee. It's again an espresso pumpkin spice. We'll see if I have a different one next week. And if you are interested and you do find value in this content and sharing and joining me on my journey, please subscribe. That'd be great. And thank you, Hassan. I started my channel back in 2021 as well, but haven't posted much. The hardest but the most important thing is to be consistent. Hassan, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And when you take a look at the revitalization and the rebuild for my channel, is kind of prioritizing the consistency. Now, yes, doing a live stream and doing a video and doing a podcast all in 1 week is a lot. And are you able to do that consistently every single week? What really kind of gained my growth in 2021 and 2022 was dedicating one quality video per week. And I did organize that in a lot of different ways. I think what's consistent for you and for, I think, subscribers is going to be kind of the telltale, because if you are, let's say, releasing 3 videos a week and your subscribers are watching that, and then you go down to 1 week or 1 a month, it kind of can change on them clicking and watching those videos. However, I've seen YouTube channels that go all in and do like 1 video a month, and they get like 1 million views, 2 million views. So I'm in Victoria, BC. There's a YouTuber in Victoria as well, and he's really niched down to outhouses. So he builds them, etc. And I think he's got like each video will have like 1 million views, like just crazy amount of views. And he doesn't monetize really outside of YouTube, just because what can you really put with Amazon links for the type of video that he's making. That being said, he consistently releases like one video, let's say per month, and it just does these crazy amount of views. So I guess it also kind of depends on your niche too. I think with technology, the crazy thing with technology, there's always something new out there. I mean, I can talk about my Mac Studio. By the time I release that, there's going to be a Mac Studio with an M5 chip or M6 chip or something crazy. So yeah, I think consistency is important. I think the quality of the video or what you're doing in those videos will be more if you're not as consistent. So again, if you're not as consistent, let's say one video a week or whatnot, is to kind of spend kind of some quality like time, and not necessarily mean like quality of video. Quality of video is always great, is just the content. And the reason why I'm opting in to do the 3 videos, technically speaking, with a live stream and the podcast and the video. The hardest part in that week is actually creating the video. The video is, I'm always thinking about different angles, and then there's the editing. The editing is what takes longer than doing the filming. With live stream, the nice thing is once I've done this live stream, I'm done. I'm good. It'll take maybe like 12 to 24 hours for it to process and release, and then I'll do some minor editing, and then it's done. With the podcast is really the same thing. I typically will do my podcast in one shot. I'll just record and share my thoughts. I will have some notes on certain things that I want to discuss in the podcast. Other than that, then it's done, and then I upload it. Very, very simple. Again, minor editing. And then it's the video. The video is really what will take a lot of time, and ensuring that I'm getting all the information that I need in a small amount of time. And what I mean by that is, with live stream, I can talk for an hour, 2 hours, not a big deal. But with videos, you want to take a lot of that information and you want to shorten as much as you can so it's consumable. So like a how-to video, like how to, let's say, turn on your camera. Most people are searching that and it's just like, hey, just tell me what to do, and they're done with the video. So when I take a look, depending on what you're doing on your channel, Hassan, what I found are 2 kind of focuses, which is for me as well, that grabs, I would say, attention and long-term growth. Is your channel entertaining, and is it educational? I think like cat videos and things like that, I don't know how entertaining that is today, but that one video might get a viral, 1 million views. And then if your videos are not entertaining or educational, it may not grasp long-term viewership. So for me, with the reviews, I try to add some education to it as well, and the why. And learning from my mistakes. I'm not saying that my videos in the past were perfect by any means. However, is it good enough? And what I mean by that is, my goal in my past videos has always been, can each video be a little bit better? And for this journey, can each live stream be a little bit better than last time? So for instance, in this live stream, obviously my audio, I had some troubles with my audio. My next live stream, that's what I'm gonna focus on and make sure that is better in the beginning of the live stream than this one. With the podcast is a little bit different. I think that is going to be kind of a moving goal stick. It gives me an opportunity just to speak my thoughts. The beautiful thing about YouTube is there isn't a cost to host those videos and that podcast. And then I use Spotify, and maybe this might be an idea for a future video, is I use Spotify to upload the audio, and Spotify has a video. So I upload that video there and then sends it out to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast hosting to find that podcast, and it's absolutely free right now, versus using something like Buzzsprout or another podcast hosting company. There's usually a charge per month, be it $5 or $10 per month. So within this journey, I'm using some free options just to gain some traction and increase my skills in the podcasting. And if you are interested, I am actually doing a podcast with a friend of mine that has nothing to do with technology. It's called Last Wheel Cycling. And cycling is another passion of mine that I'm really enjoying. However, I felt like it needed a separate channel versus integrating it to this channel, where it's more about YouTube and gear reviews, tech reviews, etc. So Hassan, if you want, let me know what your YouTube channel is in the chat. I'd love to share it. I'd love to check it out and hopefully chat more in the future. I forget sometimes that there's a little bit of a delay. So Hassan, if you're still with me, please let me know. I would love to check out your YouTube channel and chat in the future. And then hopefully you can be along in my journey, and hopefully we see and maybe follow some steps that I'm doing, or I can give you some of my feedback, and then we can kind of do kind of a weekly update together and see how our channels are growing. And it's always one of those things. I had to make a decision. Do I let this channel die and just start a whole new YouTube channel? There's some pros and cons to that. And I decided, hey, I have some good content that people are still viewing, are still watching, and creating new content, try to connect those two viewers together and build a community. So that's kind of also the future, if I'm being honest. Want to start creating a community for the channel as well. So Hassan, if you're interested, that'd be great, and we can definitely chat. Cool. So it's a Saturday. It is 8:45. We've kind of hit our hour. Hey, I appreciate you. Please send me a message in the chat or in the comments. If you aren't able to add it now, I do have like a delay so I can read the chat. So I apologize if I'm missing anything. It is kind of also that work-life YouTube balance. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching the live stream. Again, if you want to check out the next live update on what's going on in the channel, will be next Saturday. I'm going to aim for 7:45 a.m. for the Espresso Hour. Until then, we'll catch you in the next one.